We're constantly going through, looking at safety and security and how best to ensure that our students and our staff are safe.
Threatening messages found in Service High School bathrooms, how they're similar to the ones found at Diamond last week. The federal courthouse in downtown Anchorage evacuated, where a suspicious package was found inside. He didn't get the punishment in his criminal case in the now notorious plea deal, but Justin Schneider could still face consequences. And foggy and crisp again today, but Chief Meteorologist Melissa Fry says a storm is on the way for tomorrow. She'll have your local forecast.
You're watching Alaska's high-definition news leader. This is KTVA 11 News, First Take at 5.
Good evening, I'm Megan Mazurik. He didn't get the punishment in his criminal case that the Court of Opinion has decided he deserved, but Justin Schneider could still face consequences in civil court. The man who strangled an Alaska Native woman unconscious and masturbated on her didn't get any jail time in the now notorious one-pass plea deal. But as KTVA 11's Daniela Rivera reports, his victim is calling him back to court. Daniela.
That's right, Megan. With the help of an attorney, the victim, identified as Jane Doe, has filed a civil lawsuit against Schneider seeking damages for what he did to her in August of 2017. In the complaint filed this weekend, the attorney writes Jane Doe feels Schneider's treatment by Alaska's criminal justice system had to do with race and status. The document says, in part, he was a well-to-do Caucasian man with ample resources and powerful connections, whereas she was a young, low-income Native woman. It also says Jane Doe does not believe that she is the first woman that Schneider has assaulted. She believes Schneider has assaulted many women before her. That is, Schneider is a, quote, serial sexual predator. You can read the full complaint document now inside this story on KTVA.com. Schneider has not yet filed a response to the suit. Megan?
Now, Daniela, does this lawsuit name the Department of Law or the judge?
Well, judges and prosecutors have immunity when it comes to civil suits, but if you read that complaint, you'll see the woman took the opportunity to make a statement about the state's victim notification process. She says she was not unreachable and she was willing to testify.
All right, Daniela, thank you. A bomb threat at the federal courthouse in downtown Anchorage forced an evacuation this morning. Multiple people who were inside the building told KTVA they heard a voice on the intercom telling them there was a suspicious package in the cafeteria and to avoid the area. Then soon after that, an announcement was made to evacuate the building. Anchorage police helped federal authorities investigate. Multiple officials at the scene told KTVA the box was found to be empty. Police say alcohol was a factor in a crash that left one man with life-threatening injuries. It happened at Tudor and Wright Street at about 2 a.m. A Buick turned left in front of a dump truck and got hit on the passenger side. The passenger had to be cut from the car and is now in the hospital seriously hurt. The driver of the Buick was also taken to the hospital and is expected to live. No charges have been filed. In the lower 48, at least 58 people have died and 130 people are still missing after California sees its deadliest wildfire in state history.
I don't even care if there's no home. I just want to go back to my dirt, you know, and put a trailer up and clean it up and get going.
She's from Paradise, and the Camp Fire just about wiped that town out. It destroyed 8,700 homes. Now evacuees are seeking shelter in a Walmart parking lot. Further south, crews are finally getting a handle on the Woolsey fire, which destroyed more than 500 buildings. It's 57% contained. Turning to weather in our state, another beautiful but still foggy and icy day in Anchorage. So how much longer will this dry weather last? Chief Meteorologist Melissa Fry has our first look at our forecast tonight. Hey, Melissa.
Hey, we'll see for about 12 more hours in terms of the foggy and the icy conditions and those temperatures continuing to fall into the low 20s overnight. But we do have a storm system head our direction and gets here tomorrow. Before I get to that, I do want to let you know about an earthquake that happened this afternoon just after 4 o'clock. 4.7. This was on the Seward Peninsula. Peninsula, about 15 miles deep. If you felt it, head us up on Facebook or on social media. Let us know what it was like. I do have reports that it was felt across the Nome area. Otherwise, looking at conditions across the rest of the state, we are continuing to see mostly dry and clear conditions. Again, here in Anchorage tonight, those temperatures have already started to drop down into the mid-20s. Low 20s as you head out to the east side town, just 21 right now in Eagle River. Still seeing those clear skies as you head across most of the Kenai Peninsula. Also across Prince William Sound and into the Matsu, and you notice some chilly temperatures down to just 20 degrees right now in Palmer. So the weather that we've seen here for the past couple days is going to continue to hold through the night. But if you were out and about, you may have noticed those high cirrus clouds drifting in from the south. That's the first sign of this next storm that's going to roll into the area Friday afternoon. The Kenai Peninsula will be the first to see it in the form of a rain-snow mix along the coast. That storm will make its way to the north, and eventually we will see chances for a few flurries here in Anchorage tomorrow evening. Could see a snow rain mix this weekend. And all more details on that here in just a bit.
All right, Melissa, thank you. Threatening messages written in the bathroom stalls at Service High School. It's a similar situation that happened at Diamond High School last week, and it caused many parents to pull their kids out of school. KTVA 11's Dave Goldman is at Service High School this evening. So, Dave, what happened?
Well, first off, Megan, we'll say this. Everyone is fine. When we hear school and threats, I think everyone's heart rate goes up quite a bit. It certainly did for us today. Thankfully, everyone is safe. Here's the situation. Third period this morning, a teacher finds some unnerving graffiti in one of the bathrooms. Again, similar to what we heard at Diamond High School last week, and that included threatening up shooting a building. There was also a racial epithet that they found. So, school resource officers on scene today. There were two. They added up another one as well. And they checked everything out. It was business as usual otherwise. There was no lockdown, no stay put, no none of that, and everything went on as normal. However, you can imagine folks were a little unnerved, and by lunchtime, a handful of students and parents had said enough was enough, and they left. Here's the principal, Frank Hauser.
Yes, we're behind the scenes trying to address some of this, communicate what's taking place, investigate what's going on, but yeah, classes are proceeding as normal, other than a couple bathrooms being locked down. There really hasn't been, it shouldn't have been any disruption to the students' day.
Obviously, it was a busy day for him today, and again, safety, the top priority. Everyone's safe. The school did not shut down, no stay puts of anything like that, and they expect to be in class tomorrow as normal. Megan.
Now, Dave, how did the police respond to these messages? Did they show up to the high school?
Well, most high schools in the Anchorage area have two resource officers. SROs is what you're hearing, and there are two here as well. Today, they added a third to check things out, and so there was extra security here today. Don't know about tomorrow, but there was a third here on staff today, and of course they said as many as are needed, they will take care of it.
All right, Dave Goldman reporting for us in South Anchorage tonight. Thank you, Dave. The Anchorage Teachers Union and the school district have agreed to terms on a new contract. Both parties agreed on a 3-year contract late last night. Details of the agreement have not been released. Teachers have been working without a contract since the old one expired on June 30th. Members of the Anchorage Education Association still have to vote on the tentative contract agreement. A joint press conference with both parties scheduled for tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. A key race in Fairbanks could flip leadership of the Alaska House. Democrat Catherine Dodge leads Republican Bart LeBon by just 10 votes, but LeBon was part of a very narrow Republican majority that declared victory in the House less than 24 hours after polls closed. If Republicans lose LeBon, they could lose the 21 members needed to keep control. And whether the tide turns in Juneau or Republicans keep control of the House, both sides agree every voter's voice should be heard.
We've counted hundreds of votes in this one district since Election Day, so just let the votes be counted and we'll figure out who wins.
I do believe all the votes should be counted, and I think they will be, and eventually I think the Republicans will maintain a majority in the House.
Election results are slated to be certified next Friday, the day after Thanksgiving. It's time to act. That's the message Alaska Gasline Development Corporation's president had for the Resource Development Council. Keith Meyer delivered a bullish speech on the AK LNG project to the group representing mining, oil and gas, fishing and tourism industries. In coming years, he says Alaska will be ready to answer Asia's growing demand for natural gas by shipping liquefied natural gas overseas. The $43 billion project to market North Slope gas is being led by the state. Meyer has long said he hopes to begin delivering gas as early as 2024.
We've got significant momentum. We're winning over the global competition. We all have to get ready for this project. That's really been our messaging over the last several months. And the new word for 2019 is accelerate. So we really want to put this project into a high gear.
Meyer said he's already had productive meetings with Governor-elect Mike Dunleavy and Special Advisor, former Governor Sean Parnell. It's being hailed as a victory for free speech in Alaska. The State Transportation Department banned political signs near roadways during the primary. State law prevented outdoor advertising within 660 feet of highways, which basically prevented property owners from displaying political speech anywhere on their property. The ACLU is among 3 groups that sued to overturn the ban. A state judge agreed and has declared the ban unconstitutional.
The ruling is going to allow lots of Alaskans to express their political speech without interference from the state government, and we're pretty thrilled about that. We're also going to be pretty vigilant to ensure that the state doesn't try to do another roundup of signs specifically targeted to political signs like they did this last summer.
Signs are still banned on state land along the highways. The fine for violating the law is $50. Inside the gates tonight, meet 2 of the original members of the USS Alaska Submarine.
Nobody can look through the periscopes. Right. Nobody can go up topside. You're restricted 100%.
How the 2 strangers became close friends and renewed their friendship in Alaska. And Chief Meteorologist Melissa Fry back with your full forecast. But first, here's a look at daylight hours.